everybody to Pam's Savings Club. How you doing today? Nice to see you, whether it's morning, evening, midnight. We're here talking about budgeting again. I got a little glare here. Let's see if we can get it out of my glasses. Okay, I hope that's better for you. Okay, so today I thought we would talk about issues that I have when it comes to budgeting. Why it took me so long to get into it and all of this. And as I was doing this research, as I was coming up with ideas for this video, I did some research. I went on Google and I came across this article. The article title is, hold on just one moment because I want to make sure I'm saying it right. It's the 5 budgeting excuses and how to get past them. And it's written by Myra Caldwell, and it was updated by Rachel um, Couture. It was updated in June the 25th, 2019. Okay. So I knew the issues that I had, why I did not start budgeting or why I never budget. The excuse I always would use is that I never saw my parents budget. So I didn't need to budget. And so I used that. Now, what I did not know, I was always using a little piece of the budgeting aspect because I always wrote down what bills I had and the money, and I subtracted it. What I did not do was follow through with it monthly or weekly. I knew when my paycheck came or whatever time I got paid, I knew what I had to pay. I always paid my bills. There was never an issue with paying my bills. Now, the issue came the it, trying to juggle all the money that came in and all the money was going out in a reasonable fashion, and that's where my issue came out. Bills got paid, they just didn't get paid like they should have. And we all have that issue. We all work hard, and then when payday come, we all can plan before payday. We have these great grand ideas about how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this into savings. I'm going to do that. And then when payday comes, reality hits. Reality hits, and when I say reality hits, sometimes we realize, what a bill that you didn't expect came in. Life just happens, and something that you thought you would have, you could do the next payday will not wait that long, and you have to pay it this payday. And then sometimes you get I know for me, I always wanted to treat myself. I never wanted to be lacking in anything or feel the lack of something. And I had always heard that you work hard, you had to pay yourself, you need to pay yourself. So my excuse was that I would pay myself, but paying myself came at a cost. And so I was not doing that right. So I talked about this, So let's see where Mariah's excuses and what I call my roadblocks, how that kind of mesh. She had 5 of them. Okay, the first one's a lot of people like to use it. It takes too long. And I agree. Yes, budgeting takes too long when you're trying to do it, but that's because you're learning at something, and you don't know the steps, so you don't understand what you're supposed to do. You think you might be doing it wrong, or it's new, and just because it's new, it takes a while for you to get used to what you are to do with all this knowledge that you have and about your finances. So what she suggests is that you find an app to help you. There's all kinds of different apps out there. You just put in budgeting and they'll come up with it. They have their own spreadsheets, and pretty much all you have to do is plug in all your information, and then it will calculate and help you see where you're spending your money at. Even your most banks have that for you now. So check with your bank and see if that's a option for you that you can talk with somebody. Number two, I don't have enough money to budget. If you work, you have enough money. If you work, you have enough money. A lot of people think that you have to be making millions and thousands. Budgeting is how what you can do with the income that you have and the expenses that you have, and you what you want to do is get it to a zero balance. And when I say zero balance, it does not mean that your account will be at zero. It just means that your income and your expenses will equal out. That's what you want to do. You want it to equal out. And with that being said, it's going to take your time. If you never budget and you're starting to budget, it's going to take you, I can't tell you how long, but I know at least 2 to 3 months to get used to it and to see the results in it. But we have to stick with it. That's the issue. I found out for me is that a lot of times I start a lot of things and I don't stick with it. And because you don't stick with it, you don't know what the true results can be. Okay, I see. I got a glare on my glasses, but I think it'd be okay. Okay, number three. I don't like tracking my expenses. Okay. So now the question is, if that's one of your excuses, you don't like tracking your expenses or your my spending. I say expenses, but she says spending. I'm sorry. She says I don't like tracking my spending. Why? Now you need to ask yourself why. Why you don't like tracking your expenses? And most of the time, I know for me, I can only talk about from my point of view. If I don't like doing something, it's because I don't really want to be accountable or I already know the ugly picture, the answer. So if you don't like tracking your expenses, that's because you're scared that you're going to see what you already know. And that's okay. It's okay that your money doesn't look right yet. But the point is that a year from now or 3 months from now, your money's going to look better to you. You're not going to be afraid of money. You need to sit down and journal. A lot of people journal. When you write stuff out of one comes out of your head and you write it down, it makes more sense to you. You can process it better most of the time because you can see, that it really that's not a good thought. I don't like to say I don't want to use crazy. I use that word a lot, but that's again, this is my viewpoint, and I'm always talking about me when I say crazy. That's crazy. That's not the most intelligent thought you have had. Uh, but write it down. Write down what money does to you. All these things filter in becoming a better person and becoming budgeting, uh, making your journey better. I'm just trying to find the right word. Budget journey better. Okay. Um. Excuse number four. My spouse is not on board. Okay. Now, a lot of times I have heard and read, and we have heard this over and over and over again, that finances and communication is one of the big things in the divorce that leads to divorce. So, suggestions that I have always heard: talk about your finance. People don't like talking about finance because they don't want to feel like you bragging about what you got, but you're not bragging about what you got when you're talking with your significant other. Because at this point, y'all need to see if you're on the same path. How he feels about money. What does he do? How much debt he has. You need to know this because when you get married, your debt and his debt becomes one debt. And if you're trying to make a big purchase, that they consider all of that. They don't consider your debt and his debt separate unless y'all doing things separately. But when you come together and you want to purchase a house, all of that is one. And you want to know how much debt does he have? Does he have three times debt as you do? How are you going to get out of that? What is his plan of getting out of that? Because he might be working on a plan. Talk about these things. Talk about life insurance. Talk about dental insurance. Talk about health insurance. Talk about retiring. All of that is important because these are the things that you are working towards. If you're young, you're working towards probably buying your house. At whatever age, that is still a big purchase, and you need to know where you both stand at it. How do you operate? Is he a fly by night person? Is he somebody that you have to be more financially responsible, or does he have to be more financial responsible for both of y'all? You have to figure that out so that does not make you frustrated in your conversations when you are talking about things that y'all want to do. Talking with your significant other is important when it comes to finance. You do not want this to be a problem in your marriage. This should not be a problem in your marriage, I don't think. But if you don't talk about it, you don't know. If I go in with my eyes and the rainbows and thinking life is gonna be, and I don't say anything, he's not gonna know who I am. He's not gonna know what type of person I am. Because when you're dating, and I know I'm going off a subject for a little bit. I hope I don't stay off too long. When you're dating, you are putting on a show for a couple of months, 3 months, 3 months. You are putting on a show for that person. You're not revealing your truth. Most people, I can say most people. I don't know how you do it, but most people do not reveal themselves to after the third month. Because you know what happens after the third month, you are comfortable enough to become yourself. Now, some of us are comfortable enough to be ourselves from day one, but most of us are trying to sell ourselves to the opposite sex, to your significant other, and so you're doing all these things. You're making sure that you fulfill that list that he gave you or she gave you. If she says that she likes this and she likes that, you try to make yourself into that. Uh, and again, that's another issue for another time, for another video. But all of those things play into talking about finances and talking about um, your budgeting and getting on your budget path. Okay. And the last excuse she says is budgeting makes me feel bad. And that goes back to the third one where it says, I don't like to track my spending. Why does budget make you feel bad? Write it down. Look at it. Be true. When you're writing down stuff, you don't have to fake it with nobody. That's a good thing of writing about. You're not faking to anybody. If you faking it, you're faking it to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Why does budgeting make me feel bad? Is it because I think I should have more money? Okay. So okay, then you go to why I don't have more money. What can I do with the money I have now to increase it so I can get to the place where I have more money? And what does more money mean to you? Some um, we are a society where we think more money means better living. And if we think about it, if you have a grandmother or great grandmother, their life was simple. It's not as complicated as it is in our now. And our lives shouldn't be that complicated. We make it complicated because we think that we have not hit status quo unless we have the house, the picket fence, the husband, the 2.3 children or 2 point something. Now, how you have a point child? You either got two or you got three. You can't have a point child. But I digress. I digress. Yes, that's pet peeve with me. You have a point. How you have a point with a child? A child is a whole person. But I don't lost my train of thought now. But what I'm saying is that we have this picture of what a perfect life is, and most of the time, perfect life means that we have to make a certain amount of money to get to a certain place. Um, but here's a thought for you: if you are making less than $20,000 a year, and you are paying your rent, your utilities, and whatever else you're paying, and God blesses you to get the position or job that you want, and say that job gets you over 50,000. Here's a thought. If you know you can live off of 20, whatever that difference is in that new salary, still stay at 20. Take that the difference and save it or pay on your debt. Pay your credit cards off so that you don't have any debt. We will always have debt, but you won't have that debt. You won't have as much debt. And yeah, and it might not take you that long because if you're used to living off of 20,000 and your income increases to 50,000, okay, you got $30,000 there that you don't have to go out and get in more debt for. Okay, because a lot of times what happens is we advance in life, and we think that our finances finance should advance with it. It doesn't have to. You have learned to live off of less. And if it's possible for you to stay there, imagine what you could do with the difference. If you're used to living off of 20,000 and you making 50, that's 30,000 more that you have a year. If you don't have a credit card, if you don't have all your credit cards are of zero balance, and you don't have a car note because you paid your car off, and all you paying is mortgage for a house. Think about those your family members that get into a issue and need help from you that you could help, and not worry about them paying you back. Not worry about loaning somebody something or buying something for somebody. The wonderful stories we hear about people opening their houses and sharing their houses with somebody, somebody paying off somebody's car note. Isn't it a good feeling to be able to help your neighbors? Because sometimes your neighbors is not the person next door. Be able to help a single parent, to be able to help a family. Come Christmas time, come Thanksgiving, come any day of the year, to be to be able to help somebody. It's your heart gets so warm when you think about that feeling you get when you give to somebody and you don't expect anything back. You just give it because you got it to give. You're not gonna miss it because it didn't come from a bill. It's just oh, a wonderful feeling. It is such a wonderful feeling. Uh, but again, as usual, I got off on my story. So I hope that these five excuses, let's go over the five excuses that she gave us. It takes too long. That was number one. I don't have enough money to budget. That's number two. If you make money, you have enough money. Number three was I don't like tracking my expenses. Find out why you don't like tracking your expenses. Number four, my spouse isn't on board. Talk about finances. Talk about finances. Finances is a scary subject. I understand that. But talk about it. And the more you talk about it, that fear will go away because both of y'all will be comfortable to come to each other about stuff. He doesn't have to hide that his money. You don't have to hide your money unless you know that's a whole different subject. But you're coming together, so talk to your spouse about money, about what you want to do with your money, what your goals are. All of the things are important before you get married. You need to know if he likes to go camping. Does he plan to RV for in his retirement? That might not be something you want to do. Discussion, communication, all of this is important because it messes it's your money. All your money is going into these things and these activities that you both want to do. Money, budgeting. And number five, budget makes me feel bad. Again, why does it make you feel bad? Write it down, review it, find out why it makes you feel bad. Does it make you feel bad because you think you're not making enough money for where you're at in life? Then do something about it. Do something about it. If not, then we can't complain. Then we work we work with what we have and be thankful for what we have. Okay? So thank you for coming by. Thank you for listening to the five roadblocks when it comes to budgeting. I hope your budgeting is coming along. I hope you write it down and tracking because at this point you should have already tracked at least a month uh, of expenses to see where you spend your money. So now you should be starting to look at it and say, well, I spent a little bit more here this month, or I did that. Can I cut back somewhere? Because there's always a room somewhere where you can cut back and decrease something to increase something else. And we always want to decrease something to increase where we're paying off debt. We always want to pay off debt. You know, it's just some debts we're going to keep on having no matter what happens. But it's some debts that we can pay off, be happy that it pay off, and try not to get back in that deep of a debt again. Okay, this is Pam from Pam Savings Club. Thank you for stopping by. I need you to do some things for me. I need you to click on that button and like this video. I need you to share this video, and I need you to subscribe to my channel. Come on, be a club member. Come on, we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about most of the things that affect us when it comes to our lives. Okay? I enjoy talking to you. Bye bye.